section of the Midsummer Night's Dream. We silence all your cell phones. The exits are right here and right there. And enjoy the show.
It's time!
Now, fair Hippolyta, our nuptial hour draws on apace. 4 happy days did bring in a new moon, but oh, methinks how slow this old moon wanes. She lingers my desires like to a stepdame or dowager along withering out young man's revenue.
4 days will quickly sleep away themselves in nights, and 4 nights will quickly dream away the time. And then a moon like to a silver bow, new bents in heaven shall behold the night of our solemnities.
Hippolyta, I wooed thee with my sword, and won thy love doing thee injuries. But I will wed thee in another key, with pomp, with triumph, with reveling.
Happy Theseus, our renowned Duke.
Thanks, good Aegeus, what's the news with thee?
Full of vexation come I, with complaints against my child, my daughter Hermia. Stand forth, Demetrius. My noble lord, this man hath my consent to marry her. Stand forth, Lysander. And my gracious Duke, this man hath bewitched the bosom of my child. Thou, Lysander, thou hast given her rhymes, and interchanged love tokens with my child. With cunning hast thou filched her heart, and turned her obedience, which is due to me, to servant harshness. And my gracious Duke, be it so she, will not hear before your grace consent to marry Demetrius. I beg the ancient privilege of Athens. As she is mine, I may dispose of her, which shall be either to this gentleman, or to her death, according to the law immediately provided in that case.
What say you, Hermia? Be advised, fair maid, to you your father should be as a god. Demetrius is a worthy gentleman.
So is Lysander.
In himself he is, but in this kind, wanting your father's voice, the other must be held worthier.
I would my father look, but with my eye.
Rather, your eyes must with his judgment look.
I do entreat your grace to pardon me. I beseech your grace that I may know the worst that may befall me in this case if I refuse to wed Demetrius.
Either to die the death or to abjure forever the society of men. Therefore, fair Hermia, question your desires. Know of your youth, examine well your blood. Whether if you yield not to your father's choice, you can endure the livery of a nun. For I to be in shady cloister, you to live a barren sister all your life, chaining faint hymns to the cold fruitless moon.
So will I grow, so live, so die, my lord, ere I will my virgin patent up into his lordship, whose unwished yoke my soul consents not to give sovereignty.
Take time to pause, and by the next new moon, the sealing day betwixt my love and me, either prepare to die for disobedience to your father's will, or else to wed Demetrius as he would, or on Diana's altar to protest for I austerity and single life.
Relent, sweet Hermia. Lysander, yield thy crazy title to my certain right.
You have her father's love, Demetrius. Let me have Hermia's. Do you marry him?
Scornful Lysander! True he hath my love, and what is mine, my love shall render him. And she is mine, and to all my right of her, I do estate unto Demetrius.
I am, my lord, as well derived as he, as well possessed. My love is more than his, my fortunes every way is fairly ranked, if not with vantage, as Demetrius. And what is more than all these boasts can be, I am beloved of beauteous Hermia. Why then should I not prosecute my right? Demetrius, I'll avouch it to his head, made love to Nidar's daughter Helena, and she, sweet lady, dotes, devoutly dotes in idolatry upon this spotted and inconstant man.
I must confess that I have heard so much, and what Demetrius thought to us spoke thereof. But being overfull of self-affairs, my mind did lose it. But Demetrius, come in, come Aegeus. I have some private schooling for you both. As for you, fair Hermia, look you arm yourself to fit your fancies to your father's will, or else the law of Athens yields you up, which by no means we may insinuate, to death or to a vow of single life. Duty and desire, we follow you.
How now, my love? Why is your cheek so pale? How chance the roses there do fade so fast?
But for want of rain, which I could well redeem them from the tempest in my eye.
The high need for aught that I could ever read, could ever hear my tale or history. The course of true love never did run smooth.
How to choose love by another's eyes?
And if there were a sympathy in choice, war, death, and sickness did lay siege to it, making it momentary as a sound, swift as a shadow, short as any dream, as brief as the lightning in the calling night that in a spleen unfolds both heaven and earth, and ere a man hath power to say, behold, the jaws of darkness do devour it up. How quick bright things come to confusion.
If then true lovers have been ever crossed, then it stands as an edict in destiny. Let us teach our child patience, because it is a customary crosses do as loves, thoughts and dreams and sighs, wishes and tears, poor fancies followers.
A good persuasion. Therefore hear me, Hermia. I have a widow aunt, a dowager, and she hath no child. From Athens is her house remote 7 leagues, and she respects me as her only son. There, gentle Hermia, may I marry thee, and to that place the sharp Athenian law cannot pursue us. If thou lovest me, then steal forth thy father's house tomorrow night, and in the wood I will wait for thee.
Oh my good Lysander, I swear to thee by Cupid's strongest bow in that same place thou hast appointed me tomorrow, I will truly meet with thee.
Keep promise, love. Look, here comes Helena.
What speed, fair Helena, whither away?
Call you me fair? Oh, that fair again unsay. Demetrius loves your fair. Taffy fair! Sickness is catching. Oh, were favor some yours, would I catch fair Hermia ere I go? Oh, my eye would catch your eye, my voice yours. My tongue should catch your tongue, sweet melody. Oh, were the world mine. Demetrius being baited, the rest I give to be to you translated. Teach me how you look and with what art you sway the motion of Demetrius' heart.
I frown upon him, yet he loves me still.
Oh, that your frowns would teach my smile such skill.
I give him curses, yet he gives me love.
Oh, that my prayers could such affection move.
The more I hate, the more he follow me.
The more I love, the more he hateth me.
His folly, Helena, is no fault of mine.
None but your beauty would that fault were mine.
Take comfort. He no more shall see my face. Tomorrow, Lysander and myself will fly this place. Before the time I did Lysander see, seemed Athens as a paradise to me. And then what graces in my love do dwell, for he hath turned a heaven into a hell.
And Helen, to your minds we will unfold. When Phoebe doth behold her silvery visage in the watery glass, from Athens' gates have we devised to steal.
And in the wood where often you and I upon faint primrose beds were wont to lie, emptying our bosoms of their counsel sweet, there Lysander and myself shall meet, and thence from Athens turn away our eyes. Farewell, sweet fellow. Pray thou for us, and through blood grant thee thy Demetrius. Keep word, Lysander. We must starve our sight from lovers who tomorrow deep midnight.
I will, my Hermia. Helen, adieu. As you on him, Demetrius dote on you.
How happy some or other some can be. If through Athens I am thought as fair as she. But what of that? Demetrius thinks not so. He will not know what all but he do know, and he errs, doting on Hermia's eyes, so I, admiring of his qualities. Things base and vile, folding no quantity. Love can transpose to form and dignity. Love looks not with the eyes, but with the mind, and therefore is when Cupid painted blind. For ere Demetrius looked on Hermia's eye, he hailed down oaths that he was only mine. When some heat from Hermia felt, so he dissolved, and showers of oaths did melt. I will go tell him of fair Hermia's flight, then to the wood he will tomorrow night pursue her, and oh, for this intelligence, if I have thanks, it is but a dear expense. But herein mean I to enrich my pain, to have his sight thither and back again.
Is all our company here?
You were best to call them generally, man by man, according to the script.
Here's the scroll of every man's name, which is thought fit through all of Athens to play in our interlude before the Duke and Duchess on his wedding day at night.
First, good Peter Quint, say what the play treats on, then read the names of the actors, and so grow to a point.
Mary, our play is the most lamentable comedy and most cruel death of Pyramus and Thisbe.
A very good piece of work, I assure you, and a very. Now, call forth your actors by the scroll.
Show us! Master! Just show us!
Spread yourselves.
Okay. Answer as I call you. Nick Bottom.
Ready? Name what part I'm for and proceed.
You, Nick Bottom, are set down for Pyramus.
What is Pyramus? A lover or a tyrant?
A lover that kills himself, most gallant for love.
That will call for some tears in the true performing of it. If I do it, let the audience look to their eyes. I will move storms. I will condole in some measure. To the rest, my chief humor is for a tyrant. I could play Heracles rarely, or a partitere captain, to make all split. The raging rocks and shivering shocks shall break the locks of prison gates, and Phoebus's car shall shine from far and make and mar the foolish fates.
What?
That was lucky. Now, call forth the rest of the actors. This is Heracles' vein, a tyrant's vein. A lover is more condoling.
Francis Flute.
Oh, here, Peter Quince.
Flute, you must take Thisbe on you.
What is this be? A wandering knight?
It is the lady that Pyramus must love.
Nay, Faith, let me not play a woman. I have a beard coming.
You speak as small as you will.
Let me play Thisbe too. I will speak in a monstrous little voice. Thisbe, Pyramus dear, a lover dear, and lady dear.
No. You must play Pyramus and Flute, you Thisbe.
Well, proceed.
Robin Starveling.
Here, Peter Prince.
Robin Starveling, you must play Thisbe's mother. Tom Snouts.
Oh, here, Peter Prince.
You, Pyramus's father. Myself, Thisbe's father. Snug, you the lion's part, and I hope here's a play fitted.
Have you the lines part written? Pray you if it be give to me, for I am so studied.
You may do it extempore, for it is nothing but roaring.
Let me play the lion too. I will roar that I will do any man's heart good to hear me. I will roar that I will make the Duke say, let him roar again, let him roar again.
And you should do it too terribly. You would fright the Duchess and the ladies, that they would shriek, and that were enough to hang us all.
Yeah,
I grant you, friends, that if we should fright the ladies out of their wits, they have no discretion but to hang us. But I will aggravate my voice. I will roar you as gently as any sucking dove. I will roar you as gently as any nightingale.
You can play no part but Pyramus. For Pyramus is a sweet-faced man, a proper man, as one shall see in a summer's day. A most lovely, gentlemanlike man. Therefore you must needs play Pyramus.
Well, I will do it.
Yes. Masters, here are your parts. I am to entreat you, request you, and desire you to con them by tomorrow night, and meet me in the palace wood, a mile without the town by moonlight. There we shall rehearse, for if we meet in the city, we shall be dogged with company and our devices known. In the meantime, I will drop a bill of properties such as our play wants. I pray you, fail me not.
There we may rehearse most obscenely and courageously. Take pains. Be perfect. Adieu.
At the Duke's Oak we meet.
Enough! Hold or cut bowstrings.
How now, spirit, whither wander you?
Over hill, over dale, through a brush, through a briar, over park, over pale, through a flood, through a fire. I do wander everywhere, swifter than the moon's sphere, and I said to the fairy queen, farewell, thou lob of spirits, I'll be gone, our queen and all, or else come here anon.
The king doth keep his revels here tonight. Take heed the queen come not within his sight. For Oberon is passing fell and wrath, and she and her attendants hath a lovely boy, stolen from an Indian king. She never had so sweet a changeling, and jealous Oberon would have the child, knight of his train to trace the forest wild. But she perforce withholds the loved boy, crowns him with flowers, and makes him all her joy.
Either I mistake your shape in making quite, or are you not that shrewd and knavish sprite called Robin Goodfellow, are you not he that frightens the maidens of the village? Are you not he?
Thou speakest aright. I am that merry wanderer of the night. I jest to Oberon and make him smile when I am a fat and bean-fed horse beguile. But room, fairy, here comes Oberon.
And here my mistress would that he were gone.
Ill met by moonlight, proud Titania.
What? Jealous, Oberon? Fairy, I have forsworn his bed and company.
Tarry, rash wanton. Am not I thy lord?
And I must be thy lady. Why art thou here? Come from the farthest steep of India? But that forsooth the bouncing Amazon, your buskin mistress and your warrior love to Theseus must be wedded, and you come to give their bed joy and prosperity.
How canst thou thus for shame, Titania, glance on my credit with Hippolyta, knowing I know thy love to Theseus?
These are the forgeries of jealousy. And never, since middle summer spring, met we on hill, in dale, forest, or mead, by paved mountain, or by rushy brook, but with thy brawls thou hast disturbed our sport. Therefore, the winds, piping to us in vain, as in revenge, have sucked up from the sea contagious fogs, which, falling in the land, have every pelting river made so proud that they have overborne their continents. And this same progeny of evil comes from our debate. Our dissension, we are their parents and original.
Do you meant it then? It lies in you. Why should Titania cross her Oberon? I do but beg a little changeling boy to be my henchman.
Such a hearted beast. The fairyland buys not the child of me. His mother was a votress of my order, and in the spiced Indian air by night full often has she gossiped by my side and sat with me on Neptune's yellow sands marking the embarked traders of the flood. We have laughed to see the sails conceive and grow big-bellied with the wanton wind. But she being mortal of that boy did die, and for her sake do I rear up her boy, and for her sake I will not part with him.
How long within this wood intend you stay?
Perchance till after Theseus' wedding day. If you will patiently dance in our rounds and see our moonlight revels, go with us. If not, shun me, and I'll spare your haunts.
Give me that boy, and I will go with thee.
Not for thy fairy kingdom. Ferry away. We shall chide downright if I longer stay.
Well, go thy way. Thou shalt not from this grove till I torment thee for this injury. My gentle Puck, come hither. Thou rememberest since once I sat upon a promontory and heard a mermaid on a dolphin's back, uttering such dulcet and harmonious breath that the rude sea grew civil at her song? That very time I saw what thou couldst not, flying between the cold moon and the earth, Cupid, all armed. A certain aim he took and loosed his love shaft smartly from his bow. Yet marked I where the bolt of Cupid fell. It fell upon a little western flower, before milk white, now purple with love's wound. Fetch me that flower, the herb I showed thee once. The juice of it on sleeping eyelids laid shall make or man or woman madly dote upon the next live creature it sees. Fetch me that herb and be thou here ere the Leviathan can swim alone.
I'll put a goat around the earth in 40 minutes.
Having once this juice, I'll watch Titania when she is asleep and drop the liquor of it in her eyes. The next thing then she waking looks upon, she shall pursue it with the soul of love. In ere I take this charm from off her sight, as I can with another herb, I'll make her render up her page to me. But who comes here? I am invisible, and I will overhear their conference.
I love thee not, therefore pursue me not. Where is Lysander and fair Hermia? The one I'll slay, the other slayeth me. Thou told me they were stolen unto this wood, and here am I, and woed within this wood, because I cannot meet my Hermia. Hence get thee gone, and follow me no more.
You draw me, you hard and adamant, but yet you draw not iron, for my heart is true as steel. Leave you your power to draw, and I shall have no power to follow you.
Do I entice you? Do I speak you fair, or do I not, in plain truth, tell you that I do not and cannot love you?
Oh, even for that do I love you more. I am your spaniel, and more you beat me, I will fawn on you. Use me, but as your spaniel, strike me, spurn me, neglect me, lose me, only give me leave. Oh, unworthy as I am to follow you. But for coarser place can I beg in your loving it? A high place of respect for me than to be used as you use your dog.
Not too much the hatred of my spirit, for I am sick when I do look on thee.
And I am sick when I look not on you.
You do impeach your modesty too much, to leave the city and commit yourself into the hands of one who loves you not, to trust the opportunity of night and the ill counsel of a desert place with the rich worth of your virginity.
Your virtue is my privilege, for that I think it is not right when I do see your face, nor doubtless would lack worlds of company for you and my respect throughout the world. Then how can it be said I am alone when all the world is here to look on me?
I will not stay that question, let me go. Or if thou follow me, do not believe when I shall do thee mischief in the wood.
Well, I, in the temple, in the town, in the field, you do me mischief. Hi, Demetrius, you're wrong to set a scandal on my sex. We cannot fight for love as men may do. We should be wooed, and we're not made to woo! I'll follow thee, and make a heaven of hell. Oh, to die upon the hand I love so well.
Fare thee well, nymph. Ere he do leave this grove, thou shalt fly him, and he shall seek thy love. Welcome, wanderer. Hast thou the flower there?
Aye, there it is.
I pray thee give it me. I know a bank where the wild thyme blows, where oxlips and the nodding violet grows, quite over canopied with luscious woodbine, with sweet musk roses and with eglantine. There sleeps Titania at some time of the night, lulled in these flowers with dances and delight. And there the snake throws her enameled skin, weed wide enough to wrap a fairy in. With the juice of this, I'll streak her eyes and make her full of hateful fantasies. Take thou some of it, and seek through this grove. A sweet Athenian lady is in love with a disdainful youth. Anoint his eyes so that the next thing he espies may be the lady. Thou shalt know the man by the Athenian garments he hath on. Affect it with some care so that he may prove more fond on her than she upon her love. And meet me thou ere the first cock crow.
Fear not, my lord, your servant shall do so. Come, now around you in a fairy song. Sing me now to sleep, then to your offices and let me rest.
Sing in our sweet lullaby, la 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 lullaby, la 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 lullaby. Never harm nor spell nor charm. Come, our lovely lady night. So good night with lullaby.
What thou seest when thou dost wake, do it for thy true love take. Love and languish for his sake, be it ounce or cat or bear, pard or boar with bristled hair. In thy eye that shall appear, it is thy dear. Wake when some vile thing is near.
Love, we faint with wandering in the wood, and to speak troth I have forgot our way. We'll rest here if you think it good, and tarry for the comfort of the day.
Be it so, Lysander. Find you out a bed, for I upon this bank will rest my head.
One turf shall serve as pillow for us both. One heart, one bed, two bosoms, one troth.
Nay, good Lysander. For my sake, my dear, lie further off, do not lie so near.
Oh, take the sense, sweet, of my innocence. Love takes the meaning in love's conference. I mean that my heart unto yours is knit, so that one heart we can make of it. The two bosoms interchained with an oath, so that two bosoms in one troth. And by your side no bedroom me deny, for lying so, Hermia, I do not lie.
Lysander riddles very prettily. Not much for shewing my manners and my pride, if Hermia meant to say, Lysander lied. But, gentle friend, for love and courtesy, lie further off in human modesty. Such separation as may well be said becomes a virtuous bachelor and a maid. So far be distant, and good night, sweet friend. Thy love never alters, rest with thy friend.
Amen to that fair prayer, say I, then end my life when I end loyalty.
With half that wish, the wisher's eyes be pressed.
Through the forest have I gone, but Athenian found I none, on whose eyes I might approve this flower's force in stirring love. Night and silence. Who is here? Weeds of Athens he doth wear. This is he, my master said, despised of Athenian maid. And here the maiden, sleeping sound, on the dank and dirty ground. Pretty soul,
She durst not lie near this lack-love, this kill courtesy. Churl,
Upon thy eyes I throw all the powers this charm doth owe.
when thou wakest, let love forbid sleep deceit on thy eyelid.
So awake when I am gone, for I must now to Oberon.
Thy charms, hence do not haunt me thus.
Stay, though thou kill me, sweet Demetrius.
Stay on thy peril, I alone will go.
Will thou darkling leave me? Do not so. Oh, I am out of breath. In this fond chase, the more of my prayer, the lesser is my grace. Happy is Hermia wheresoe'er she lies, for she hath blessed and attractive eyes. How came her eyes so bright? Not from salted tears, if so my eyes are oftener washed than hers. What wicked and dissembling glass of mine made me compare with Hermia's fiery eyne? Who was here? Lysander on the ground is dead or asleep. I see no blood, no wound. Lysander, if you live, good sir, awake.
And run through fire I will for thy sweet sake. Transparent Helena, nature shows art that through thy bosom makes me see thy heart. Where's Demetrius? Oh, how fit a word is that vile name to perish on my sword.
Do not say so, Lysander, say not so. What though he love your Hermia, Lord, what though? Yet Hermia still loves you, then be content.
Content with Hermia? Oh no, I do repent the tedious minutes I with her have spent. Not Hermia, but Helena I love. Who would not change a raven for a dove?
Wherefore was I to this king mockery born? When at your hands did I deserve this scorn? Is it not enough? Is it not enough, young man, that I did never know, nor never can deserve a sweet look from Demetrius' eye, but you must flout my insufficiency? Good troth, you do me wrong. Good sooth, you do in such disdainful manner me to woo. But very well. Perforce, I must confess, I thought you lord of more true gentleness. Oh, that a lady of one man refused should therefore of another be abused.
She sees not Hermia. Hermia, sleep thou there, and never mayest thou come Lysander near. So that my surfeit and my heresy have all be hated but the most of me, and to all my powers address your love and might, to honor Helen, and to be her knight.
Help me, Lysander, help me! Do thy best to pluck this crawling serpent from my breast! Me for pity. What a dream was here. Lysander, look how I do quake with fear. Me thought a serpent eat my heart away, and you sat smiling at his cruel prey. Lysander, what? Removed? Lysander! Lord! Gone? No word, no sound? Alack, where you speak, and if you hear, speak of all left, I swoon almost with fear. No, then, I perceive you all not nigh, either death or you I'll find immediately.
Are we on that?
Pat, here's a marvelous, convenient place for our rehearsal.
Good Peter Quinn.
What sayest thou, bully bottom?
There are some things in this comedy of Pyramus and Thisbe that will never please. First, Pyramus must draw a sword and kill himself, which the ladies cannot abide. How answer you that?
By our lake in a perilous fear. I believe we must leave the killing out when all is done.
Not wit. I have a device to make all well. Write me a prologue that should seem to say, we will do no harm with our swords. And for the more better assurance, tell them that I, Pyramus, am not Pyramus, but bottom. This will put them out of their fear.
Well, we will have such a prologue, and it shall be written in 8 and 6.
No! Let it be written in 2 more. Let it be written in 8 and 8.
Will not the ladies be afeard of the lion? I fear it, I promise you.
Masters, you ought to consider with yourselves to bring in. God shield us! A lion amongst ladies is a most dreadful thing, since there is not a more wild fowl than the lion living, and we ought to look to it.
Therefore, another poem must tell that he is not the lion.
Nay, he must name his name, and speak through saying thus, or to the same defect, ladies, or fair ladies. I wish you, or I request you, or I entreat you. Not to fear, not to tremble, my life for yours. If you think I come forward as a lion, it were a pity on my life. No, I am no such thing. I'm a man as other men are, and there indeed, let him name his name and tell them that he is, snug.
But there's two hard things. That is to bring moonlight into a chamber. For Pyramus and Thisbe, you know, meet by moonlight.
Will doth the moon shine the night we play our play?
A calendar, a calendar. Find out moonshine, find out moonshine.
Yes, it doth shine that night.
Why, then we may leave a casement in the great chamber window where we are to play open. And there the moon may shine through the casement.
Aye. Or else one must come in with a bush of thorns and a lanthorn and say he is to disfigure or to present the person of moonshine. Then there is another thing. We must have a wall in the great chamber, for Pyramus and Thisbe says the story did talk through the chink of a wall.
You can never bring in a wall. What say you about it?
Some man or other must disfigure wall. Let him have some loam or some rough cast about him to signify wall, and let him hold his fingers thus. And through this cranny shall Pyramus and Thisbe whisper.
If that may be, then all is well. Come and rehearse your parts. Pyramus, begin. When you have spoken your speech, enter into that break, and so everyone is going to
What hempen homespuns have we swaggering here so near the cradle of the fairy queen? What a play toward! I'll be an auditor and actor too, perhaps, if I see cause.
Speak, Pyramus. Thisbe, stand forth.
Thisbe, thy odious savors sweet.
Odors. Odors.
Thy odors savor sweet, so hath thy breath fire, dearest Thisbe dear. But hark, a voice. Stay thee but here a while, and by and by I will to thee appear.
Stranger Pyramus than airplane here.
Must I speak now?
Aye, marry, must you, for you must understand he goes but to see a noise that he heard, and is to come again.
Most radiant Pyramus, most lily white of hue, of color like the red rose on triumphant briar, most brisky juvenile and eke, most lovely Jew, as truest horse that yet will never tire, I'll meet thee, Pyramus, at Ninny's tomb.
Nine is two, man. Why you must not speak that? That you answer to Pyramus. Speak your part all at once, cues and all. Pyramus! Enter! Your cue is past. It is never tire.
As truest horse that yet will never tire.
If I were fair, Thisbe, oh, I were only thine.
Oh, monstrous. Oh, strange. We are haunted. Pray, masters, fly, masters!
What is this knavery? This is to make me afeard.
Oh, Bottom, thou art changed. What do I see on thee?
What do you see? An ass head of your own, do you?
Bless thee, Bottom, thou art translated.
I see their knavery. This is to make an ass of me. To make me feared. If they could. But I will not stir. Do what they can. I will walk up and down this place and I will sing. And then they will know that I am not afraid. The Orsal cock, so black of hue, with orange and tawny bill. The throstle, with his note so true. The wren, with little quill. Ha, ha, ha.
My angel wakes me from my flowery bed. I pray thee, gentle mortal, sing again. Mine ear is much enamored to thy note, so is thine eyes enthralled to thy shape. And thy fair virtue's force perforce doth move me on the first view to say, to swear, I love thee.
Methinks, mistress, you should have little reason for that. And yet, to say the truth, love and reason keep little company nowadays.
Thou art beautiful.
Oh, 'tis not so. If I had enough wit to get out of this wood, I have enough to serve my own turn.
Out of this wood do not desire to go. Thou shalt remain here, whether thou wilt or no. And I do love thee, therefore go with me. I'll give thee a fairy to attend thee, and he shall fetch thee jewels from the deep, while thou on pressed flower dost sleep. Fairy!
Ready? Where shall we go?
Be kind and courteous to this gentleman. Hop in his walks and gambol in his eyes, feed him with apricots and dewberries, purple grapes, green figs, and mulberries. Will not to him elfin do him courtesies.
Hail, mortal.
Come, wait upon him. Lead him to my bower. The moon, methinks, looks with a watery eye, and when she weeps, weeps every little flower, lamenting some enforced chastity.
Oh!
Tie up my love's tongue, bring him silently.
I wonder if Titania be awaked. Then what it was that next came in her eye, which she must dote on in extremity. Ah, here comes my messenger. How now, mad spirit? What night rule now about this haunted grove?
My mistress with a monster is in love. Near to her close and consecrated bower, while she was in her dull and sleeping hour, a crew of patches, rude mechanicals who worked for bread upon Athenian stalls, were met together to rehearse a play intended for great Theseus' nuptial day. The shallowest thick-skinned of their barren sort, whom Pyramus esteemed in their sport, forsook his scene and entered in a break, while I did him at disadvantage take. An ass's knoll fixed I on his head, when in the moment so it came to pass, Titania waked and straightway loved an ass.
This falls out better than I could devise. But hast thou yet left the Athenian's eyes with the love juice, as I did bid thee do?
I took him sleeping, that is finished too. And the Athenian woman by his side, when he waked, of course she must be eyed.
Stay close. This is the same Athenian.
This is the woman, but not this the man.
Oh, why rebuke you him that loves you so? Lay breath so bitter on your bitter foe.
What's this to my Lysander? Where is he? Good Demetrius, wilt thou give him me?
I'd rather give his carcass to my owl.
Dog, out, cur! Thou hast ravished me past the bounds of maidens' patience. Hast thou slain him then? Oh, once tell true for my sake. Could not a worm and adder do so much, then thine thou serpent thou adder touch.
You spend your passions on a misprized mood. I am not guilty of Lysander's blood, nor is he dead, for aught that I can tell.
I pray thee then tell me that he is well.
And if I could, what should I get that
A privilege to never see me more. From thy hated presence part I so. See me no more whether he be dead or no.
There is no following her in this fierce vein. Here therefore for a while I will remain. So sorrow's heaviness doth heavier grow, for death that bankrupt sleep doth sorrow owe, which now in some slight measure it will pay, if for his tender here I make some stay.
What hast thou done? Thou hast mistaken pride and laid the love juice on some true love sight. Of thy misprision must perforce ensue some true love turned and not a false turned true.
Then fate all rules, that one man holding troth, a million fail, confounding oath on oath.
About the woods go swifter than the wind, and Helena of Athens look thou find. How fancy sick she is and pale of cheer, with sighs of love that cost the fresh blood dear. By some illusion see thou bring her here. I'll charm his eyes against she do appear.
I go, look how I go, swifter than the arrow from Tartar's bow.
Flower of this purple dye, hit with Cupid's archery, sink an apple of his eye. When his love he doth espy, let her shine as gloriously as the Venus of the sky. When thou wakest, if she be by, beg of her for remedy.
Captain of our fairy band, Helena is here at hand, and the youth mistook by me pleading for a lover's fee. Shall we their fond pageant see? Lord, what fools these mortals be!
Stay close. The noise they make will cause Demetrius to awake.
Then two at once woo one. That must needs be sport alone, and those things best please me that befall preposterously.
But why should you think I wooing scorn? Scorn and derision never come in tears. Look, when I vow, I weep, and vow suborn and then nativity, all truth appears. Why should these things in me seem scorn to you, bear the badge of faith to prove them true?
You do advance your cunning more and more. When truth kill truth, devilish holy pray these vows are Hermia's. Will you give her o'er? Weigh oath with oath, and you will nothing weigh. These vows to me and her will even weigh, and both as light as tales.
I had no judgment with her eyes swore.
No, not in my mind. Now you give her or.
Demetrius loves her, and he loves not you. Oh, Helen. Perfect, divine. To what shall I compare thine eye, thy lips, those kissing cherries? Oh, let me kiss this princess of pure white, the seal of bliss.
Oh, spite. Oh, hell, I see you all are bent to set against me for your merriment. If you had any pity, grace, or manners, you would not do me thus much injury. Can you not hate me, as I know you do, but must join in souls to mock me too? Oh, if you were men, as men you are in show, you would not use a gentle lady so to vow and swear and super praise my parts, but I am sure you hate me with all your hearts. And you both are rivals, and love Hermia, and now both rivals to mock Helena. A trim exploit, a manly enterprise to conjure up tears in a poor maid's eyes with your derision. None of a noble sort would so offend a virgin and extort a poor soul's patience, all to make you sport.
You are unkind, Demetrius, be not so. For you love Hermia, this you know I know. And here, with all goodwill, with all my heart, in Hermia's love do yield you up my part. And yours of Helena to me bequeath, whom I do love and will until my death.
Never did mockers waste more idle breath.
Lysander, keep thy Hermia. I will none. If e'er I loved her, all that love is gone. My heart to her but is guest-wise sojourned. Now to Helen it is home returned, there to remain.
Helen, it is not so.
The spirit not the faith thou dost not know, lest to thy peril thou abide here. Look where thy love comes, yonder is thy.
Ah, Lysander, brown thy hair, I think it brought me to thy sound, but why unkindly didst thou leave me so?
Why should he stay, whom love doth press to go?
What love could press Lysander from my side?
Lysander's love that would not let him bide. Fair Helena, who more in gilds the night than all young fiery O's and eyes of light? Why seek'st thou me? Can't this make thee know the hate I bear for thee made me leave thee so?
You speak not as you think, it cannot be.
Oh, she is one of this confederacy. Now I perceive they have conjoined all three to fashion this false sport in spite of me. Oh, injurious Hermia, most ungrateful maid, have you conspired, have you with these contrived to bait me with this foul derision? Is all the counsel that we two have shared, the sisters' vows, the hours that we have spent when we have shed the hasty foot of time, oh, is it all for God? And would you rent our ancient love asunder to join with men in scorning your poor friend? 'Tis not friendly, 'tis not maidenly, our sex as well as I may chide you for it, though I alone do feel the injury.
I am amazed at your passionate words. I scorn you not, it seems that you scorn me.
Have you not set Lysander as in scorn to follow me and praise my eyes and face, and made your other love Demetrius, who even but now did spur me with his foot to call me goddess, nymph, divine, rare, precious, celestial?
I understand not what you mean by this.
I do persever. Counterfeit sad looks make mouths upon me when I turn my back. Wink at each other, hold the sweet jest up. This sport well carried shall be chronicled. If you had any pity, grace, or manners, you would not make me such an argument. But very well, 'tis partly my own fault, which death or absence so shall run
Have me hear my excuse, my love, my soul, fair Helena.
Oh, excellent.
If she cannot entreat, I can compel. If I canst compel, no more than she entreats. Thy threats have no more strength than her weak prayers. Helen, I love thee. By my life I do. I swear by that which I will lose for thee to prove him wrong that says I love thee not.
I say I love thee more than he can do.
If thou say so, withdraw and prove it too.
Quick, come.
Lysander, where'd you tinsel this?
Away!
No, he'll seem to break loose. Take on if you would follow, but yet not come. You're a tame man. Go.
Hang off, thou cat, thou bird! Vile thing, let loose, or I will shake thee from me like a serpent.
Why are you grown so rude? What changes this sweet love?
Thy love, out, tawny tartar, out, loathed potion, hated medicine, hence.
Do you not jest?
Yes, sooth, and so do you.
Demetrius, I will keep my word with thee.
I would I had your bond, for I perceive a weak bond holds you. I'll not trust your word.
What, should I hurt her, strike her, kill her dead? Although I hate her, I'll not harm her so.
Hate me? Wherefore, oh me, what news, my love? Am not I Hermia? Are not you Lysander? I am as fair as I was since erewhile. Since that you left me, yet since that you left me, why, you left me, the gods forbid. In earnest shall I say?
I, by my life, I never did desire to see thee more. Therefore, be out of hope, of question, of doubt. Be certain, 'tis no jest that I do hate thee and love Helena.
Me, you juggler, you canker blossom, you thief of love! Have you come by at night and stolen my love's heart from him? Fine, if they have you no modesty, no maiden sin, no touch of bashfulness.
help it. Why so? I had produced the game. Now I perceive that she had made compare between our statures and with her personage, her tall personage, her high pursuit. She hath prevailed with him. And are you grown so high in esteem because I am so dwarfish and so low? How low am I, thou painted maypole? Speak! How low am I? I am not yet so low but that my nails can reach into thine eyes!
Oh, brave gentlemen, though you mock me, let her hurt me. I was never cursed, I was gifted all in truth. Just let her not strike me. You perhaps may think that because she is something lower than myself that I can match her.
Lower! Hark again!
Good Hermia, not be so bitter with me. I evermore did love you, Hermia, did never keep your counsels, never wronged you. Save that. In love unto Demetrius, I told him of your stuff into this wood. He followed you for love, I followed him. But he hath chid me hence and threatened me to strike me, spurn me, make to kill me too. And now, so you will let me quiet go to Athens, I will bear my folly back and follow you no further. Let me go, you see how simple and fond I am.
Why get you gone? Who is it that hinders you?
Foolish heart that I leave here behind.
Pillows! What was Lysander?
Demetrius!
Be not afraid, she shall not harm thee, Helena!
No, sir, she shall not know you take her part.
She's angry, she is keen and true. She's a vixen when she was in school. And though she be but little, she is fierce.
Little! Nothing but low and little. Hark again! Why will you suffer her to float me thus? Let me come to her!
Be gone, you dwarf! You minimus of hindering not grass made! You bee, you acorn!
Fishes in her behalf that gorgeous. Let her alone, speak not of Helen, take not her part. For if thou dost intend never so little show of love to her, thou shalt abide.
Now she holds me not. Now follow, if thou darest, to see whose right, mine or thine, is most in Helena.
Follow. Nay, I'll go with thee. Cheek by jowl.
You! You! While the spoil is long of you, nay, go not back!
I will not trust you. I no longer stay in your cursed company. Your hands and mine are quicker for fray. My legs are longer than run away.
I am amazed and don't know what to say.
This is thy negligence. Thou hast mistakest or else commits thy knaveries willfully.
Believe me, King of Shadows, I mistook. Did not you say I should know the man by the Athenian garment he had on? And so far blameless proves my enterprise that I have anointed an Athenian's eyes. And so far am I glad that it did so sort, for this their jangling I did esteem a sport.
Thou seest these lovers seek a place to fight. Hie therefore, Robin, overcast the night, and lead these testy rivals so astray as one come not within another's way. Like to Lysander sometime frame thy tongue. Then stir Demetrius up with bitter wrong, and sometime rail thou like Demetrius. And from each other look thou lead them thus, till over their brows doth counterfeiting sleep, with leaden legs and patty wings doth creep. Then crush this herb into Lysander's eye. When they next wake, all this derision shall seem a dream and fruitless vision. And back to Athens shall the lovers wend, with league whose date till death shall never end. Whiles I in this affair do be employ all to my queen and beg her Indian boy. And then I will her charmed eye release from monsters' view, and all things shall be peace.
My fairy lord, this must be done with haste.
Make no delay, we may effect this business yet ere day.
Up and down, up and down. I will lead them up and down. I am feared and sealed in town. Goblin, lead them up and down. Here comes one.
Where art thou, proud Demetrius? Speak thou now.
Here, villain, drawn and ready. Where art thou?
On with thee straight.
Follow me then to plainer ground.
Lysander, speak again. Thou coward, thou runaway, art thou fled? Speak, in some bush where dost thou hide thy head?
What, villain, art thou bragging to the stars and telling the bushes that thou lookst for wars and will not come? Come, recreant, come now, child. I'll whip thee with the rod used defiled to draw the sword on me.
Yea, art thou there?
Follow my voice will try no manhood here.
Goes before me and still bears me on. I come where he calls, yet he is gone. The villain is much lighter keeled than I. I followed fast, but faster he did fly that. Fallen am I in dark and even way, and here will rest me.
Come, thou gentle day, for if thou but once show me thy grey light, I'll find Demetrius and revenge this.
Ho, 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 coward, why comest thou not?
Abide me if thou carest. Well I wot thou runs before me, shifting every place, but darest not stand, nor look me in the face. Where art thou now?
Come hither, I am here.
Nay then, thou mockest me. Thou shalt by this year never I thy face by daylight see. Now go thy way. Faintness constrains me to measure out my length on this cold bed. By day's approach, look to be visited.
Oh, weary night, long and tedious night, abate thy hour. Shine comfort from the east that I may back to Athens by daylight, and leave my poor company to pass. Oh, and sleep, that sometimes sets up sorrows, I steal me a while from thine own company.
Yet but 3. Come one more, 2 of both kinds make up 4. Here she comes, cursed and sad. Cupid is a knavish lad, thus to make poor females mad.
Never so unweary, never so in woe. The devil with a dew and torn with briars, I can no further call, no further go. My legs can keep no pace with my desires. But here will I rest home, wrinkled day. Nothing is still hot and tender, afraid.
On the ground, sleeping sound, I'll apply to your eye, gentle lover running. When thou wakest, thou takest true delight in the sight of thy former lady's eye. And the country proverb known, every man shall have his own. In your waking shall be shown, Jack shall have Jill, naught shall go ill. Man shall have his American, and all shall be well.
Come, sit thee down upon this flowery bed, while I thy amiable cheeks do cloy, and stick musk roses in thy sleek smooth head, and kiss thy fair large ears, my gentle joy. Say, sweet love, what thou desirest to eat.
I'd rather a handful or 2 of dried peas, but... let not your people disturb me. I have an exposition of sleep come upon me.
Sleep thou, and I will wind thee in thy arms. Fairy, be gone, and be always away. So doth the woodbine and the sweet honeysuckle gently entwist the female ivy so, and wringing the barky fingers of the elm. How I love thee, how I dote on thee.
Welcome, good Robin. Seest thou this sweet sight? Her dotage now I do begin to pity. And now I have the boy. I will undo this hateful imperfection of her eyes. And, gentle Puck, take this transformed scalp from off this Athenian swain. Let he awaking when the other do may all to Athens back again repair, and think no more of this night's accidents, but as the fierce vexation of a dream. But, first, I shall release the fairy queen. Be as thou wast wont to be, see as thou wast wont to see. Diane's bud over Cupid's flower have such force and blessed power. Now wake thee, my fairy queen.
My Oberon, what visions have I seen? Methought I was enamored of an ass.
There lies your love.
How came these things to pass? Oh, how mine eyes doth loathe his visage now.
Silence a while. Robin, take off this head.
When thou wakest, with thine own fool's eyes peep.
Come, my queen, and rock the ground whereon these sleepers be. Now thou and I are new in amity, and will tomorrow midnight solemnly dance in Duke Theseus's house triumphantly. And blessed to all fair prosperity, there shall the pairs of faithful lovers be, wedded with Theseus, all in joy.
Fairy king, attendant mark, I did hear the morning lark.
Then my queen in silence sat triply after the nightshade. We the globe can compass soon swifter than the wandering wind.
Come, my lord, and in our flight, tell me how it came this night that I sleeping here was found with these mortals on the ground.
My lord, this is my daughter here asleep. And this Lysander. This Demetrius is. This Helena, or neither Helena. I wonder if they're being here together.
No doubt they rose up early to observe the rite of May, and hearing our intent came here and graced our solemnity. But Aegeus, this is not the day that Hermia should give answer of her choice.
It is, my lord.
Go tomorrow, friends. St. Valentine is past. Begin these wood birds but to couple now.
Pardon, my lord?
I pray you all stand up. I know you two are rival enemies. How comes this gentle concord in the world that hatred is so far from jealousy to sleep by hate and fear no enmity?
My lord, I shall reply amazedly, half asleep, half waking. I cannot say truly how I came here, but as I think, and so truly do I speak, I came with Hermia hither where we might without the peril of the Athenian law.
My lord, fair Helen told me of their stealth, of this their purpose hither to this wood. And I, in fury, hither followed them, fair Helen, and fancy following me. But my lord, I wot not by what power, but by some power it may be, my love for Hermia melted as the snow. And all the faith and the virtue of my heart, the pleasure and object of mine eye, is only Helena.
Fair lovers, you are fortunately met. Of this discourse we more will hear anon. The deus will overbear your will, for in this temple by and by with us these couples shall eternally be knit. Away with us to Athens, 3 and 3. We'll hold a feast in great solemnity. Come, Hippolyta.
These things seem small and undistinguishable.
Methinks I see these things with discordant eye, when everything seems double.
So methinks, and I found Demetrius like a jewel, mine own and not mine own.
Are you sure that we are awake? It seems that yet we sleep, we dream. Was not the Duke here and bid us follow him?
Yea, and my father.
And Hippolyta.
And he did bid us follow to the temple.
Right, then we are awake. Let's follow him. And by the way, let us recount our dream.
I have had a most rare vision. I have had a dream. Ask the wit of man to say what that dream was. Methought I was. Methought. There's no man can tell what my dream was. Man is but an ass if he go about and expound this dream. I shall go to Peter Quince and have him write a ballad of this dream. It shall be called Bottom's Dream, for it hath no bottom, and I shall sing in it in the latter end of the play, before the Duke.
Have you sent to Bottom's house? Has he come home yet?
He cannot be heard from. I would doubt he is transported.
Well, if he come not, then the play is marred. It goes not forward, doth it?
It is not possible. There is not a man in Athens able to discharge Pyramus but he.
No, he had simply the best wit of any handicraft man in Athens.
Masters, the Duke is coming from the temple, and there are 2 or 3 more lords and ladies more married. If our sport had gone forward, we had all been made men.
Oh, sweet bully Bottom!
Where are these lads? Where are these hoes?
Oh, most courageous day! Oh, most happy hour!
Masters, I am to discourse wonders, but ask me not of what. For if I tell you I am no true Athenian, I shall tell you everything as it fell out.
What is this, me Bottom?
Not a word of me. All I am to tell you is that the Duke hath dined. Get your good apparel together. Good strings on your beards, new ribbons for your pumps. Every man look over his part, for the short and the long days, our play is preferred. No more words. Away. Go away!
'Tis strange, my Theseus, that these lovers speak of, and all the story of the night told over, and all their minds transfigured so together, more witness of them fancy images, and grows to something of great constancy. But howsoever strange and admirable.
Here come the lovers now, full of joy and mirth. Joy, gentle friends, joy and fresh days of love accompany your hearts. Come now, what masks, what dances shall we have to wear away this long age of 3 hours between after supper and bedtime?
Well, a play there is, my lord, some 10 words long, which is as brief as I have known a play. But by 10 words, my lord, it is too long, which makes it tedious. For in all the play there is not one word apt, one player fitted.
I shall hear this play, for never anything can be amiss when sympathy and duty tender it. Come now.
I love not to see wretchedness or charge in his duty service perishing.
Why, gentle sweet, shall see no such thing. The prologue is addressed.
If we offend, it is with our goodwill. That you should think we come not to offend, but with goodwill. To show our simple skill, that is the true beginning of our end. Consider then we come but in despite. We do not come as minding to contest you. Our true intent is all for your delight. we are not here, that you should here repent you. The actors are at hand, and by their show, you shall know all that you are like to know.
I, one Snout by name, present a wall, and such a wall as I may have to think, that had a crannied hole or chink through which the lovers, Pyramus and Thisbe, did whisper, often very secretly. And this loam, this rough cast, and this stone doth show that I am that same wall, the truth is so. And this the crannied hole is right and sinister, through which the fearful lovers did whisper.
Would you desire Lyman hair to speak better?
No remedy, my lord, when walls are so willful to hear without warning.
Pyramus draws near the wall, silence.
O grim-looked night, O night with you so black, O night which ever art when day is not, O night! Alack, alack, alack. I fear my these promises forgot. And thou, wall, O sweet, O lovely wall that stand between her father's ground and mine. Thou wall, O sweet and lovely wall, show me thy chink to blink through with mine eye. Thanks, courteous wall. Jove shield thee well for this. No Thisbe do I see. O wicked wall, through whom I see no bliss, curse be thy stones for thus deceiving me.
Oh, wall, full often hast thou heard my moans for pardoning my fair Pyramus and me. My cherry lips have often kissed thy stones with lime and hair knit up in thee.
I see voice. Now lie to the chink, and there I may spy and hear my Thisbe's face. Thisbe!
My love, lord, my love, I think.
Think what thou wilt. I am thy lover's grace, and like Lymander I am trusting still.
And die like Helen, till the fates me kill.
Not chaplainess to Brocus was so true.
As sharp as the brokers, I to you.
Oh, kiss me to the whole of this vile wall.
Oh, lips have kissed the wall's hole, not your lips at all.
Wilt thou at Nini's tomb meet me straightway?
Tide life, tide death, I come without delay.
Thus have I, wall, my part being discharged so, and being done, doth wall away doth go.
Now is the real down between the two neighbors.
This is the silliest stuff ever I've heard. You, ladies, you whose gentle hearts do fear the smallest monstrous mouse that creep on floor, may now perchance both quake and tremble here when lion, rough and wildest rage doth roar. Then know that I, one snug, am a lion fell, nor else no lion damned. For if I should as lion come and stripe into this place, 'twere pity of my life.
This lantern God myself the man in the moon who seems
This is the greatest error of all the rest. The man should be put to the lanthorn. How else is it the man in the moon?
She dares not come there for the candle, for you see it is already in snuff.
I am aweary of this moon. Would he would change.
It appears by his small-eyed discretion that he is in the wane, but yet in courtesy and all the reason we must say the time.
Proceed, Moon.
All that I have to say is that this lanthorn the moon, myself the man in the moon, this thorn bush my thorn bush.
Why all these should be in the lanthorn? For all these are in the moon? But silence. Here comes Thisbe.
This is all Nini's doom. Where is my love?
Well run, Thisbe.
Well shown, moon. Moonshine.
Well, mouse lion.
And so the lion back.
Sweet moon, I thank thee for thy sunbeams. I thank thee for shining now so bright, and by thy gracious golden glittering gleams, I may take truest of my Thisbe's sight. Oh. Oh, spite. But mark, poor knight. Oh, what dreadful dole is here. Eyes Do you see? How can it be, O dainty duck, O dear, what thy mantle good? Stained with blood. Oh, approach, ye furies fell! Come, fates, come! Cut, thread, and thrum, crush, quail, conclude, and quell.
This passion in the death of a dear friend would go near to make a man look sad.
Where's that lion's frame? Since lion's vile hath now deflowered my dearest Thisbe dear, which is, no, which was, the fairest dame that ever lived, that ever liked, that ever loved, that ever looked with cheer. Oh, come, tears confound! Out! Sword and wound! Aye. Of Pervester! Wait, that's left pack. Where heart doth hound. Am I dead? Thus am I fled. My soul is in the sky. Tongue, lose thy light. Moon, take thy flight. Now, die, 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 die.
With the help of a surgeon, he might yet recover and prove an ass. She will find him by starlight. Here she comes in her passion ends to play.
Asleep, my love? What, dead, my love? Oh, Pyramus, arise! Speak! Speak! You're dumb. Oh. Dead? Dead? A tomb must cover thy sweet eyes. Gaze my lips. This cherry nose. These yellow cow's lip cheeks are gone. Gone. Lovers make moan. Tongue, not a word. Come, trusty sword. Come, blade my breast and boot. Farewell, friends. Thus, this be ends. Adieu. Adieu.
I assure you, all is down on part of their fathers. Would it please you to hear an epilogue? Or hear a burgomask dance?
No epilogue, I pray you, for your play needs no excuse. For when the players are all dead, there needs none to be blamed. Lovers to bed, 'tis almost fairy time.
Through the house give gathering light, by the dead and drowsy fire. Every elf and fairy sprite, poppers light as birds from briars. In this ditty after me, sing and dance it, tripping me.
First rehearse your song by rote, to each word a warbling note. Hand in hand with fairy grace, we shall lead and bless this place. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended. That you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear, and this weak and idle theme, no more yielding but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as am I an honest puck, if we have unearned luck now to scape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long. Else the puck a liar call. So good night, and to you all. Give me your hands if we be friends. and Robin shall restore amends.